I already started this once and I realized that the cloak was inside out. Yay me. Hello again and welcome to All Things LARP. So I posted on the All Things LARP and New England LARPers Facebooks, and the outpouring of suggestions for I Wish I Knew were far beyond what I would have expected. And it really inspired me and it compelled me to push out a I Wish I Knew Part 3, so let's get right into it. First one is some truly solid advice I got from several commenters, so I'm gonna throw all around here. It's some advice I wish I knew that when I was first starting out at LARPing, and with your character, one way to really put it is drive it like you stole it. Now this could be very character and player specific, but your character's life is whatever you make of it. Doesn't matter what anybody else says, it is up to you to play the character the way you want and to have fun with it the way you would like to. This is your chance to live the fantasy. This is your chance to take risk. This is your chance to get out there and do something you might not normally do. Or as many of us like to say, do the stupid. And believe me from personal experience, doing the stupid will lead to plot, adventure, fun. Sometimes it'll blow up in your face, but at least you'll have a great story out of it because you did something ridiculous and hey, here we are. Do as much with your character as you can with your time, because there's only so much time in game for you to do this. You only have a certain amount of hours. Sometimes we play for a day, sometimes we play for a weekend. That character may only last you a year, maybe 10 years. But that is still, no matter how you cut it, a temporary life that you are living. And if you don't play it the way you want to play it, in all honesty, what's the point? If you're not having fun with it, if you're not doing it the way you want to. And sometimes taking the risk, sometimes doing the thing that you were like, that's ridiculous, I'm in. That will really bring out some of the best adventures you can really have. I've heard so many stories, and I personally lived so many of the stories of doing the stupid, and it just worked out fantastically. Only a few years ago, I made a Fey deal in game, and boy, did we do the stupid. It turned into one Fey deal and really kind of blew up in our faces, which resulted in cannibalistic druids and a new law in town saying that no one's allowed to make the days with the Fey or will be killed on sight. So we immediately made another Fey deal, and it turned into one of, honestly, in 20 years of LARPing, the greatest roleplay experiences that I have ever had, and I don't regret it for a second. So I really stand by a lot of the suggestions from the members of the community, and drive it like you stole it, do the stupid, because in the end, it'll pay dividends in one way or another. Secondly, and something that I'm starting to really learn personally, is I wish I knew to trim prosthetics. Now, I'm starting to play an orc in a new LARP, and I've realized this because there was some very, very unfortunate photos with the nose of my orc character. Normally prosthetics, whether it's ears or a nose, comes with a little bit of extra flash or a little bit of extra lining around it, and that may be fine for you. That might be the way that you like it. That might be the best way that you can attach it. But I have really found in my experience, especially while playing an elf multiple times, that trimming off a little bit of those pieces, just taking off a little bit to make sure that it really fits you better. Because remember, these are made for a general person's face and shape. It's not going to fit everybody. You might want to take off a little bit of it here and there, and in the find what's comfortable for you. But seriously, take your time, think it through. How are you going to feel? Like, hold it up to you, figure out where you take off little bits at a time. And if you plan on using this for long periods of time, then I would really suggest doing the best you can to trim it for what's best for you. Number 3, and is near and dear to my personal heart, I wish I knew to roleplay hits and deaths. What are we here for if not roleplaying? And being hit is part of it. Now, I've been to LARPs where you get hit and somebody gives you a thumbs up or an okay, and maybe that's okay for you, or maybe that's okay for that LARP. But personally, I really feel it adds a great amount of flair and more fun. If somebody hits you, you feel it. Someone's hitting you with a sword. Someone's hitting you with an axe. Somebody just tossed a fireball at you. You're not gonna feel that. You're not going to express that as, hey, I'm on fire. You're not gonna scream, rage, feel it. Someone just cast a spell on you and made your armor searing hot. You're gonna shrug that off and go, oh, no, your skin is melting. Roleplay it, scream out to the heavens, curse your opponent. Don't just take it with a cold face and a shrug. telling you hope his bread goes moldy, that ants eat his eyes, an ogre adopts his children, and his dog gets run over by a carriage. What? All right, maybe not the dog. That's a bit much. Why the dogs? Okay, leave the puppy alone. There's no reason to bring dogs into it. You're a monster. But anyway, don't be afraid to make it known that those hits did something to you. Because not only is that good for you to really feel that, and it really adds to immersion, but for the person that's attacking you, that feels great to them. Like, yeah, like I did it. You know, it really adds to the moment when you're giving it out and a person buckles down and is on the ground, and they make a scene of their death. They make a scene of those hits you're on the ground. So don't be afraid to roleplay hits and deaths, because I promise you will add so much to your experience. Number 4, I wish I knew about hand warmers. Again, I'm going to speak from personal experience. When I was in my 20s, I was like, I never get cold. I don't need that. I'm going on 40, and I have learned from some close friends of mine that hand warmers are a godsend. In the early spring and late fall events, that it can get cold, it can get nasty, it can get windy, it can get wet, and it can get so many different ways. But those hand warmers are versatile. You can slide them in your gloves, you can put them in your boots, you can tuck them under your arms. There are so many things you can do with them to help keep yourself warm and comfortable for the weekend. But just a friendly reminder, please remember to be safe with them. Some of them get extremely hot and you don't want to cause yourself some burns. It's best to keep a layer between them and your skin, just to avoid any possible burns or serious issues. Someone in the comments mentioned that a person in their group was going around before bedtime and putting hand warmers in the sleeping bags to make it nice and toasty, and believe that can be wonderful to slip into a bag after a cold night of LARPing and have warm feet. That person is a miracle, and whoever you are, we'd like to thank you on behalf of the entire LARP community. Yes! Oh, finally, the time has come. And here we are. I wish I knew number 5. Yeah, I know. Yep. Okay. Yeah. Oh boy. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Are we done? Are we done? Yes. It is finally come. Yes. The people have spoken. The socks are the most important of all LARP gear. Yes. It is time.
At last, victory is mine!
What the hell is wrong with you? I was hit in the head a lot over these years. So here it is, my great popular demand. I wish I knew to bring more socks. For experienced LARPers and newcomers alike, we can now overemphasize the importance of socks. When putting together your supplies, double check. Did you bring enough socks? Chances are you didn't. Do you feel like you have enough? Incorrect. Go get some more. Is it going to rain this weekend? Well, the weather says there is a 15% chance. You better get some more socks, son. In my formative LARPing years, I made these mistakes as a young man, feeling like I don't need that, I can get through, no big deal. I learned some horrible lessons of cold, wet, itchy, burning athlete's feet, just making a mistake of not changing out my socks as much as I would like to. At cold events, sometimes nothing feels better than to slip on a fresh pair of socks. In warm events where it's sweaty and you do it, nothing feels better than slipping on a nice pair of socks. Don't be afraid to change them out multiple times a day. The longer you wear those gross socks, walking through the woods, trekking around, the more you are just creating a better breeding ground for the bacteria that will just ruin your weekend. You get that sore, burning, painful feeling in your feet, and that can ruin everything for you with everything you do as a distraction to your role playing or something that really throws you off your game when fighting. I change mine multiple times a game. I put on a fresh pair in the morning, and I will tell you that not much feels better than when it's 2 a.m. and it's time to tuck into my sleeping bag to slip on a fresh pair of socks. And on those really cold nights, because I like to sleep in a tent, or in our case, the yurt. That's slipping on an extra pair and then a top-on pair. Oh, that'll keep you nice and toasty all night long. Now we crack jokes, and it's become a bit of a LARP cliche to say, what's the most important thing about LARPing? Socks. But in all seriousness, it is very important to be sure that you have extra socks. So I will say one more time in all seriousness, check your supplies. If you have room, it's not going to hurt you to grab a few more extra pairs. It is always good to have as many as you can. Pack what you can, because even if you don't need it, it's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. And in this case, it really means it. And those are the 5 suggestions for this episode of I Wish I Knew. Once again, I want to thank everyone in the community who has really pitched in with these suggestions. I have enough suggestions right now to make at least another 9 episodes of I Wish I Knew, and they're all fantastic. I never really expect a major following, and I'm honestly just making these videos for a few friends of mine who absolutely enjoy them and some other members of the New England LARPing community. But I feel it's definitely worth it for experienced LARPers or some of those folks who have only been to 2, 3, 4 events and have learned something, to spread the news to older and newer LARPers alike, because we all have a different idea, we all have a different perspective, and there are those LARP hacks out there that even some of us who have been LARPing for 20 years have never heard of, and just can sit back and say, that is a fantastic idea. Why have I never thought of that? So overall, I just want to thank everyone who has commented on the YouTube videos, who has commented on Facebook, and if one of these tips can save someone's weekend, it is completely worth it. So once again, thank you for joining me for I Wish I Knew from All Things LARP. And when that day comes that you throw back on your garb and get back out there one more time into that fray, please remember, get involved, be involved.